Come, let us break free from the opinion-free prison right now. Sometime between 300 and 200 BCE, Chuang-Tzu wrote a very famous poem. I would like to paraphrase it for you, if that's okay. A man dreamt he was a beautiful butterfly in a beautiful sky. He awoke bewildered, unsure whether he was a man who dreamt he was a butterfly, or if he was a butterfly currently dreaming he was a man. Behold the power of uncertainty. In some translations of the Metta Sutta, an absence of strong opinions or liberation from the tyranny of strong opinions is lauded. Rigidity is not our friend. Superstition is not our friend. And the indulging of our controlling tendencies does not pave the path of peace or love. What are we to do then? Are we to be our own personal thought police, forever putting the kibosh on whatever thoughts or emotions or intentions or memories or fantasies are just naughty? No. Now, there are many spiritual teachers who would say, yes, please, do that more. But that, once again, is the path of rigidity and the path of control. But it's not the only path. We can subvert rigidity with flexibility. We can subvert fear with love. We can subvert superstition with rationale. We can subvert our controlling tendencies by being laid back. Instead of being like the Big Lebowski, we can be like the dude. We can subvert elitism with egalitarianism. We can subvert cryptic communication that breeds confusion and petty one-upsmanship with lucid communication. We can subvert competitive tendencies with cooperative tendencies. We can subvert cruel impulses with kind ones. But how do we do that without falling into the trap of being contrived and controlling and rigid? Every time we inhale, we are already hardwired, thanks to evolution, to automatically and effortlessly access the sympathetic nervous system ensconced within the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, to help us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what, you might ask? Notice mind's antics of perception, to notice whatever sights or sounds or sensations or flavors or scents seem to cartwheel across the stage of our present moment experience, seem to pierce our sphere of awareness, if you like. But that's not all. We also wire to likewise notice emotions, all of them, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. Whether they are external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. Hey, Nicholas, nice to see you. To you, I send a psychic, a Yoda high five. But wait, there's more. What do we do? What do we do with all this stuff that we notice? Once again, we don't want to fall into the trap of being controlling or rigid. So here's what we do. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired to cooperate with the parasympathetic nervous system divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we interrupt the habit of competition between our cerebral cortex and our sympathetic nervous system, paving the way for cooperation. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we interrupt the habit of competition between our cerebral cortex and our parasympathetic nervous system, setting space for teamwork between the two. So here's the wild thing. We don't force ourselves to use our sympathetic nervous system. It's automatic. We don't force ourselves to use the parasympathetic nervous system. It too is on autopilot. But by choosing to silently and mentally play with these monosyllabic words, we are blending our will, if there is such a thing, with this natural process. We are blending our intention with this process. We are freeing our intention from the controlling tendencies that we have been indoctrinated into, and freeing our intention to cooperate with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Now, if you're half as smart as I hope you are, you're probably already ahead of me and thinking, well, what's that? What's to stop me from being a psychotic bastard, from going down to the five and dime, purchasing a double-bladed axe and going hog wild like some dude on the cover of a Molly Hatchet album from the late 1970s. And so here's the thing. Here's the wild thing. Yes, there is a part of our brain called the amygdala where anxiety and aggression hold a hoedown, and it ain't pretty. But every time we play with this mindfulness and meditation, we calm the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala. We calm the effect these two have upon our choices, utterances, and deeds. And we stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus simply by playing with this and ease. What, you may ask, is our anterior cingulate gyrus other than something that looks like a funny-looking letter C? It functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy, which in turn is the root of both compassion and love. This is important. 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path pertains to love and kindness. kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of commerce, kindness of conduct, and commerce that is as cooperative as it is kind. And this is not contrived. Simply by playing with mindfulness and meditation, simply by dancing with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, we are already wired to be the people that our dog already thinks we are. And to put icing on the cake, the more we practice mindfulness and meditation, the more we experience the effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, the more our choices and our utterances and our deeds flow with this effortless effort, this centered spontaneity, which of course must not be confused with the scattered spontaneity we might experience after powering down 3 consecutive energy drinks. Oy vey. No. This is love's centered spontaneity, the fruit of playing with mindfulness and meditation. Therefore, this is the path of yin. This is the path of Lao Tzu. This is the path of the Christ. This is the path of the Buddha. This is the path that frees us from the power, This is the path that breaks the chains of certitude. How fun is that? Well, I didn't mean to hit that button. I meant to hit this button. So here's what we're going to do. We have just concluded our opening lesson. Now let's make our way to the primary practice, or this evening's primary practice. It is General Leia Organa Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Together, I think it could be fun if we chanted an excerpt from Zalpatu Rinpoche's final meditation manual, translated by the Padmakara group, adapted and amplified by yours truly. Please chant with me. All talk is like an echo, said the Buddhas. But these days it is more like the re-echo of an echo. What the echoes say and what they mean are not the same. So do not take any notice of these insidious echo words. People can be kind, people can be cruel. But neither those people, nor those words, nor the pain they create is permanent. Let us turn our attention now to the latest iteration of our Treasure's Easy meditation. Let's see, if I hit 46, will that make it fit? It will, but that will most certainly foul up the display. Okay, here we go. Let us begin by chanting an explanation of the 6-syllable mantra. Oh, I invoke the wish of healing money jewel that serves as a metaphor of love, and the pale lotus of purity serving as a metaphor of release. With whom I supplicate may love and release be mastered by all. Let us begin with the inner set of preliminary practices according to the final meditation manual of Dzogchen Rinpoche, found in the appendices of this book by Dilgo Khyentse. In our compassion may we long to free all beings from the toxic tyranny of habitually hating, craving, and clinging, metaphorically known as the three mental poisons. So what we're going to do is silently and mentally recite a 6-syllable synopsis of all these words. We shall do that during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we can do two things. We can physically relax as best we can while striving to chant this 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. In all pragmatism, may all liberation of all beings be fueled by all reliance on the Buddhas. Example, instructions, and students described by the metaphor of the 3 wish-fulfilling jewels. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Rather than squander our time and energy in defensiveness, how much wiser could it be to learn our mistakes, lessons that effortlessly flow from mindfulness and meditation-centered spontaneity, a practice that is brought to you by not holding on to our opinions as if they were permanent and perfect. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Okay, this one is a bit challenging to chant. In fact, I want to make it easier to chant, so please bear with me. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do some editing just because I don't want to break anybody's brain with this. Okay. Let's make sure this fits okay on the screen. Wunderbar. Das ist wunderbar. Excellent. Okay, excellent. Party on. Okay, here we go. A life squandered in vying and greed leads not to peace and fulfillment. Better to live in cooperation and generosity. Aha, this is even better. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit this here. That's my invitation of Eric Cartman for your spiritual edification. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. Let's see here. Let's hit layouts and okay. Oh, how much fun is it to edit in live during a live stream? It would not surprise me if some people turned my live stream editing into a drinking game. I wouldn't recommend it. It would exhaust your poor liver. All right, here we go. Aha. Phew! Okay, take 47. Here we go, kids. A life squandered in vying and greed leads not to peace and fulfillment. Better it is to live in cooperation and generosity. Add lives and may this mind shoot out crowns on. Cleansing, changing, increasing, and giving my stuff to all beings of nirvana and samsara. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. However flawed we may perceive our teacher to be, they are more present in all lives than the Buddhas are. So from a certain point of view, our Lama is kinder to us than them. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Despite of many differences, all in teacher's mind, both share the same empty nature. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Welcome to the first quarter of this evening's mindful crease counting meditation. Let us briefly review the principles of Bengali crease counting. Over the span of 12 inhalations, we could advance our right thumb in the following manner, beginning with our little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Multiply this by 4 sets, and you've got 48 inhalations. We could count those 4 sets on our left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 12 inhalations each. How then will we keep track of our first quarter? Simple. We could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, upon the tip of our left little finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the bladder region of our lower abdomen. And so, in a very concise way, in a very concise review of what we explored during this evening's opening lesson, every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics. And every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release whatever it is we have noticed during our previous inhalation. Let's practice. Please chant the 15th passage with me. Whoever you see is not human but a fraud. Whatever people say is not right but just lies. So since these days there is no one you can trust, you had better live alone and stay free. The price of relating to others, vocationally, recreationally, platonically, or intimately, is pain. We need to go into our relationships with eyes wide open. Let us view release through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the 4 bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and release, where it is release that is emphasized. Together, please chant with me. Rather than endure controlling tendencies with all these effective visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors with statements literal, and relax into the flexibilities that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. We begin with the first base of mindfulness, the circumstantial. Together. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable of what is a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. We take all these words and allow them to coalesce into just 8 syllables that we silently and mentally recite during our inhalation. During our exhalation, we can physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 6-syllable mantra 8 times per breath. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable of what is a real or imagined archetypal of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. As we inhale interpersonal communication, all speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable of what is a real or imagined mantra of light. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani me me yung, om mani me me yung. As we inhale, we could notice mind's perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined beach as seeds of love light. Om mani me me yung, 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 om mani me me yung. Welcome to the second quarter of this evening's mindful crease counting meditation. To keep track of our second quarter, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, upon the tip of our left ring finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the navel region of our mid-abdomen. Every time, as we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics. As we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are already wired to physically relax and mentally release whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation. I'll be right back. Please chant with me. If your actions could conform, if your actions conform with Dharma, you could annoy many beings. If it was all truthful, most people could get angry. If your mind is truly good and pure, they could judge it a defect. Now is the time to keep your own way hidden. If all we care about is treating life like it was high school, forever questing for popularity, we might want to put our light of authenticity and centered spontaneity under a basket. But if we prioritize our mastery and everybody else's mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, we might have different priorities. Oh, excuse me. We come now to the first of 3 electives. Tonight we're only going to play with the first one. Bringing the 5 dualistic perceptions into the path of the non-duality accessed by awareness and release. Together. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of ugliness or beauty we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply sight. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of discord or harmony we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply sound. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of foul or fragrance we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply scent. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of disgusting or delicious we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply taste. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience A pain or pleasure we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply sensation. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualistic experience of false or true we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to melt into the non-duality of simply phenomena. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. We come now to this evening's third quarter of mindful crease counting meditation. To keep track of this third quarter, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in the heart region of our chest. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics. Every time we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation. let's chant a selection. The 17th passage of Dzogchen Rinpoche's Heart Treasure of the Enlightenments. Together. Hide your body by singing alone in the mountain wilderness. Hide your speech by cutting off contact and saying very little. Hide your mind by being continuously aware of your own faults alone. This is what it means to be a hidden yogi. We have evolved in such a way over the past at least 300,000 years to really, really crave safety, pleasure, praise, and fame. And sometimes that can get the best of us. And so neither praising nor degrading ourselves, so we could be a bit more mellow and laid back, we will probably be a lot happier. We come now to our final quarter of this evening's practice. Let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and release, where it is love that is emphasized. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Oopsie. Let us sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. May all minds of all beings know me as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha, symbolized by a tikle one syllable zero bija mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all relationships, all speech of all beings know me as joyfully loving, as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by the six-syllable mantra. Om mani mimi yung, 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 om mani mimi yung. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist statuary. depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined dominant archetype of enlightenment such as Chenrezig. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. Let us wish that all beings everywhere be freed from the circumstantial tyranny of sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, Islamophobia, classism, exploitation, fascism, jingoism, genocide, and ecocide. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now enjoy the safety, good fortune, or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Avanti. Om Mani Mimi Yung, 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 Om Mani Mimi Yung. We conclude with the fourth quarter of this evening's mindful crease counting meditation. To keep track of this fourth quarter, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, upon the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so could gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at the crown region of our head. As we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we are already wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics. As we silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during our exhalation, we are already wired to physically relax and thus mentally release whatever it is that we noticed during our previous inhalation, although we only labeled it as this. Together. May each being's death and rebirth be auspicious. Eightfold Path Mastery be swift and benefit to all others be profound. You've taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.